So, good evening. Let us discuss the 4th June 2015 newspaper. The first article is related to monsoon prediction and forecasting in India. So, we have Indian Meteorological Department, and recently it has decreased the forecast of monsoons. So, it means that the general level of the rainfall is going to come down in this particular season in India. The southwest monsoons are not going to give you enough rainfall. The major problem is this: the general rainfall level can provide you some information about the rainfall and deficit of the monsoons as a overall country as a unit. But the major challenge is about the local information. This local information is the one which is going to help the farmers. In India, this local information is absent. Second thing is this IMD information is prone for many inaccuracies. So perfectly taking a meteorological data is probably not possible. So in this context, recently a supercomputer was launched in IMT that is called Bhaskara supercomputer. Probably this may help to improve the forecast. On the other hand, there is a SkyMet, a private agency which is also giving the forecast of rainfall. It is providing relatively better accuracies when compared to the IMD department. Now, read more about this particular subject. I am not an authority on this particular subject, but one book which I read, that is in July 2012, there is a special edition of Yojana on monsoons. Please go through that special edition of Yojana on monsoons. So, first try to understand these questions from your geography class. Is India a monsoon economy? The first question is. The monsoons and food inflation, how they are related to each other. The weather forecasting system in India. In the weather forecasting already, medium range weather forecasting, this was asked as a question previously. So weather forecasting and various issues related to that. And next is El Nino, it was asked for 2 marks previously. El Nino, La Nina, all these questions you need to talk about. So please go through this Yojana once. Next is the same thing with related to the monsoons. Next, GST. This is one topic which I want to cover in detail for you. The first thing is, what is GST? The second is, what is the structure of the GST? And how it is going to gain our economy? What are the complications related to GST we are facing now? So these are the things we need to understand. So coming to GST, it is nothing but a VAT which can be applied both for goods and services. As of now, the goods, the taxes on the goods and taxes on the services are differently collected. So there are a range of taxes from manufacturer till the end customer. So one is you have manufacturing tax, especially the excise duty, central sales tax, state sales tax. So you have got varied number of tax systems, indirect tax systems in the country. So the goods and service tax is going to replace all these varied tax systems. Now in this process, any tax we need to understand 3 points. What are they? The cost of collection has to be minimal. The cost of collection has to be minimal. And next is compliance system has to be high. And third is it has to be prone for fewer distortions. So cost of collection has to be low, compliance has to be high, distortions need to be minimal. So when we have these 3 things, that's what is called as a better tax structure. Now, because of the existence of multiple taxes in India, there is a cascading effect. The VAT is able to remove to an extent this cascading effect, but however, so the interstate taxes, this cascading effect still exists. So the GST is going to reduce this. It can bring in one uniform tax in the country. Now, various states collect different types of VAT rates on different products. Now, GST is going to bring in one single tax for the entire country. And the third thing is, the NCAER study, what it has said is, in GST, implementation of GST, will increase Indian GDP growth by 0.9 to 2%. And because our exports are also going to increase, the reason is the tax rates are going to come down and the cost of production, and the cost of the good in the markets is going to come down. It means our products are going to become more and more competitive. So based on this, exports can increase. So these are the positive aspects of having a good tax. Now, what are the issues that are coming up? One is tax, especially the sales tax, is a federal issue because in every federation, bringing in a uniform tax between the center and the states is a major policy question, and it needs certain compromises on the parts of the states. So any tax harmonization will has to decrease the fiscal autonomy of the states. With regard to this tax harmonization, the first thing is the proposed the tax system will have central GST and state GST. We'll see it later. So the first thing is the federal question. So many states may be losing money, and few states may be gaining too much of money because of GST. Let us see how. Now, from Maharashtra, a good has come up, and Gujarat. These two are the major production centers in India. Now, GST is a destination-based tax. It means where the good is finally reaching, there the final tax will be collected. It means it is not an origin-based tax. It's a destination-based tax. A good, if it is starting in Maharashtra and reaching to Andhra Pradesh, finally the tax is collected from the customer at the last stage, that is in the Andhra Pradesh. So in this case, the origin-based states, they may have certain problems with this tax. And the second thing is, certain states in India, such as Punjab, they levy the purchase tax. So now, how this purchase tax can be integrated with GST is another major challenge. And third thing is, any tax implementation, it shall have the rate structure. What is the rate of tax? And second is exempted items. What is the maximum allowed taxation? That is called threshold. Now, what the government is telling to the people is, the GST will increase the compliance of taxation. Our people will pay the taxes better, and because of this, the tax rate will decrease. So, to an extent, it is true. But however, as though the GST will be, though GST introduction or though GST is introduced, there is not going to be much variation in the tax rates because the states are demanding for better tax rates or better profits to them. And the second thing is the rate structure. If you observe, there will be two structures, or else the what will be the exact rates. For example, in VAT now we have 4 slab system, etc. Now under GST, how many slabs will be there? So as a norm, GST means there has to be one uniform tax. And next is where it has to be collected. So what it was told is it will be collected at the central. There will be center GST and state GST and interstate GST. So the interstate GST will also be collected by the center itself. So the next thing is, states want a huge exemption list from the GST. It means the sales tax will continue on this exemption list. What are they? Petroleum products and tobacco, alcohol, where maximum revenues are coming from the states. They want them to be outside this particular GST regime. Now, if you see how the GST operates, now a good is starting in Mumbai, the sale price is 100 rupees. Now, SGST, it means total, let's take 16% is the GST. In this, states 8% and center 8%. So these are going to the respective, one is for India, one is for Maharashtra. At the next level, when it goes to Pune, so the cost is escalated to 200 rupees. Then the previous 8% of the tax will come as input to this particular person, and he will pay only 8 rupees at the end of the state to the Maharashtra. And So it means this is how this particular sale happens in the intrastate. So there will be two taxations. So it means central GST and state GST. So the input tax will be deducted from the next level taxation. So simply just like a VAT, but they are integrating the services also into this process. Now let us see if it is an interstate tax. So, indoor level, first is when the good is produced, the state will get its share and center will get its share. The next level, when the product moves to the next state, the only tax that will be levied is IGST. So, when the good is sold in some other state, IGST will be levied, and this IGST will be collected by the center, and the SGST will be transferred respectively. Now let us see a good which has been originating in Delhi and going to Jaipur and Jodhpur. So in this context, the first when there is a transfer of a state, IGST will be collected, and next level is when the good is being sold, CGST and SGST will be collected. But the input tax, that is what is on IGST, the trader will receive an input credit. So this input credit will be compensated to the states through transfer of certain credit to it. So it means when a good is moving in through the interstate, what is the point we never remember? IGST will be levied. So when a good is sold in the state, CGST, SGST will be levied. CGST goes to the center, SGST comes to the state's kitty. And at every level where a good is sold, an input credit comes to that particular trader from the previous transaction. And the third point is, so wherever the input credit, if it is coming from IGST, then the states will be compensated, are paying that particular credit to the states, and states will be passing on that credit to that trader. These are the points we need to understand in the existing structure. Now, what the states are saying is they are losing autonomy on levying the taxes. That is, they cannot determine tax rates according to their developmental model. So, in this context, obviously, as I told to you, so the certain amount of fiscal autonomy has to be compromised in a federal structure to bring in tax harmonization. But what the government has proposed when Chidambaram was the finance minister is this. So instead of providing for one single tax rate, they will give something called as a buffer or a band. It means a range will be determined. You can determine the tax rate from 10 to 12%. So in that band, the states will determine the tax. But however, so instead of a uniform tax structure has to be created, all these are going to nullify the advantages of GST, in my opinion. And another thing is the development or equity question of GST. In a globalized world, what is happening is the direct taxes are decreasing to create the capital for investment. So to encourage or to provide for the flow of the capital from one country to the other country, to also pool up the capital in the domestic capital, so the direct taxes are decreasing and indirect taxes are increasing. Understand, indirect taxes hurt all of them equally. When there are, it means, so if 1 rupee will be paid by Ambani and 1 rupee of indirect tax also paid by a rickshawala. So in that context, the perceived hurt will be maximum for rickshawala because his incomes are low. So on that's why it is a regressive tax. On the other hand, income tax, as your money increases, income increases, the tax rate will increase, a progressive tax. So these are the things we need to understand. Now there is a video which is uploaded for you. I'll ask Insights to upload this video for you. Please go through this particular video. So in the Economic Times, they have clearly provided for a debate on this video. I hope you'll enjoy that. And next is whatever these pictures I have collected from this website. So I'll ask them to post that particular link for you. You can look at that. And next is the next topic is India signs automatic exchange of information. So, what is this? So, in this, one of the steps towards reduction in black money, what happened is it is a multilateral competent authority agreement. So, in this, there will be a common reporting standards will be brought in on automatic exchange of information related to the citizens who open different accounts or do different transactions in the other countries. It means that we can simply understand signing of this agreement will decrease the opportunities for tax evasion. So these are the things we need to understand. So it is a multilateral competent authority agreement, MCAA. The purpose is it will evolve certain standard operating procedures with regard to the automatic exchange of tax information. And the next is unarmed and unprepared. What is this article is all about? So it is about the defense preparedness of India. India is the largest importer of the arms across the world. Unlike China, which was also in the same state, so it is the fourth largest importer, and most of its defense equipment is indigenously prepared and produced. In India, we have a research establishment in the name of DRDO, but however, the most of the cases, the products are delayed or they are not up to the mark. If you can see light combat aircraft, the Kaveri engine, many times you can see it as a failure, and it is also out of date, increasing the cost of production. So next is the long range surface to air missile, and next AWACS, airborne warning systems. All these things the DRDO said it can produce at a lesser cost than the import cost. But finally, it did not, failure of it to produce has increased our opportunity cost. If you can remember, Mr. During the Kargil war, VP Malik, he was the army chief. There are certain radars were necessary. So what they do is they will identify the heat where it is coming from, and based on that we can attack that particular tanker or something like that. So these are the radars which we wanted to import from US. That is AN-TPQ-37 radars. No, don't need to remember all these names. But finally, DRDO said it can produce that at half the cost, which it did not do. So finally, we have to face the wrath of this in the Kargil war. And the second thing is, if you observe the Ramarao Committee in 2008, it has said the DRDO, instead of focusing from nail to machine, it shall focus on from 8 to 10 key projects where it can deliver strongly. And nothing like that has happened. It wants to produce everything, and the result is nothing. And second thing is the domestic production capabilities. These need to be increased from developmental perspective too. If you increase the production capabilities, you are also creating opportunities. So the defense expenditure is leading to the development of employment opportunities on this particular land. So on the other hand, recently India raised the FDI in defense to the 49%. But however, the investors, they want to have a majority stake to control the production. And the second thing is a defense technology commission. So we wanted to establish as a commercial establishment of DRDO, which is yet to take place. And third thing is Make in India. It is making a huge noise, or else voice, I will say, but there is no proper policy framework to this. So that's why in the previous articles we spoke that the Indian defense sector is in a clear set of a policy. So especially if you see AK Antony era, so the defense procurements have almost died because of every major company in the world. It was been seen with suspicion. So a proper policy has to be in place to make in India. So the Make in India in defense sector, almost in every sector, is in wait of a clear policy. Now the Rajesh Chandra committee, what it recommended is we have to create a National Technology Council headed by the Defense Minister. This National Technology Council will bring in research, production both in private sector and public sector, synergize with each other, and India can finally become a technologically compliant nation. And The bureaucracy in the defense ministry, it has to be overhauled and replaced with specialists. Unless we do this, armored preparedness will not increase in the country. And cashing on the treaty, there was a prelims question previously. So there is a direct taxes avoidance agreement with Mauritius. So there is something called a round tripping, where the black money from India goes across the globe and comes back as a white money. So try to understand what is this round tripping. So because of the benefits, the agreements, tax agreements we have with Mauritius, most of the money are investors, they want to take the Mauritius route to invest in India. That is the reason why it appears in our books that most of the FDI in India comes from Mauritius. Actually, Mauritius is an intermediate destination because of India's tax agreements with that country. And next is, again, is the grain. So if you observe this, the fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition and rehabilitation and resettlement bill, we simply say land bill. So the government has resorted again to this particular ordinance mode. So running or making the laws through an ordinance, it is totally against the constitution. Mr. Sitaram Yechury has clearly said that it is absolutely untenable constitutionally in a democracy. It is absolutely untenable. So one thing is, ordinance is an exceptional measure. Using it regularly to govern the country is against the democratic principles. So if I have to say, if government is resorting to the ordinance mode to make a law, then it is an ordinance Raj. And ordinance Raj is specifically against the balance of checks and balances and separation of powers in the country. Next is XIB chief. Now, so if you see previously National Security Advisor, all these used to be majorly from External Affairs Ministry. Now the perspective has changed. The intelligence people or intelligence bureau people are occupying various important positions in the country. One among them is the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is from IB, and also a new appointee Asif Ibrahim is going to work on special envoy on counter terror. So he has got an expertise in West Asia. So, but whatever for administrative sake, the orientation of the government is visible with regard to the people it is selecting for various positions, especially with regard to security of India. So these are the topics. Let us see. And one more thing is, India tops on hunger list. It is there next to GST bill in central page, which I failed to load. So there are certain three important points. What it has been said is around 194 million people in India are suffering from hunger. But wherever the hunger has decreased, what are the factors that have provided for? The first thing is inclusive economic growth. Wherever we have the inclusive economic growth, East Asia, Southeast Asia, so that has led to the decreased hunger. And next is wherever the food productivity has increased by in the family holdings, there the hunger has decreased. And third thing is the expansion of the social protection that also has decreased the hunger. 3 points are inclusive economic growth, rise of productivity of the family holdings. Third thing is the social safety nets. These are the things which are been talking about. So unarmed and underprepared, it is about defense preparedness. Please read this. And land acquisition bill we have discussed. Now, with regard to the link to Yojana July, please go through this particular thing. Is India a monsoon economy? And already these are the things which have been discussed. So these are the this today's video. So thank you very much. Good night. And I'll try to upload the videos on time for you because of the hectic classes. I'm sometimes failing to do this. So my objective is to give you a video by morning 7 o'clock. Hope I can do that. And with regard to the video from Economic Times, I will get it uploaded from Insights. I'll get these things done for you. And thank you very much for your support. And I'm really enjoying your comments, and they are encouraging. That's making me to work. It's almost at 2 o'clock in the midnight, and still it's making me to work. Thank you very much. Good night.